There are moments in life when everything becomes silent outside, yet extremely loud inside the mind. A person may sit in a crowded room and still feel alone. A person may smile in front of the world while carrying pain, fear, confusion, and exhaustion. Deep inside the heart, many people spend years searching for happiness, success, peace, and meaning, yet they continue feeling empty because they are running without understanding where they are truly going. This book is not written for perfect people. This book is written for real people, for the tired mind, for the broken heart, for the person who feels lost during lonely nights, for the dreamer who almost gave up, for the silent fighter who keeps surviving even when nobody understands the battle. Inside, listen for a single night. This book will change. Everything is not only a motivational book. It is a reality-based journey that forces the mind to wake up. It is written to help people understand life, deeply understand pain, understand discipline, understand fear, and understand the hidden strength that already exists inside every human being. The world today is filled with distractions. Noise is everywhere. People are constantly told to become rich, famous, attractive, and successful, yet very few are taught how to become mentally strong, emotionally balanced, and spiritually peaceful. Many individuals look successful outside, while secretly collapsing inside because they never learned how to face reality honestly. This book does not promise magic. It does not promise instant success. It does not sell fake positivity. Instead, this book speaks about truth. The truth about struggle. The truth about failure. The truth about loneliness. The truth about discipline. The truth about human potential sometimes. One single night changes a person forever. One deep realization can completely transform the direction of life. Person may suddenly understand that excuses are destroying the future. A person may finally realize that fear has controlled every important decision. A person may discover that real power begins when responsibility is accepted completely. Every chapter in this book is designed to touch the human mind and heart deeply. The purpose is not only to inspire, but also to awaken awareness. Because awareness creates transformation. When people begin understanding themselves honestly, they stop blaming the world for everything. They stop waiting for perfect conditions. They stop wasting years in doubt and fear. Instead, they slowly begin building a stronger identity, stronger habits, and stronger purpose inside. These pages you will discover lessons about discipline, courage, pain, growth, time, self, respect, gratitude, purpose, failure, and inner strength. You will see how ordinary people change their lives, not through luck, but through mindset, action, patience, and persistence. The examples shared in every chapter are reflections of real human struggles, because reality teaches more powerfully than fantasy. This book asks you to look honestly at your own life, to question your habits, to question your fears, to question your excuses, to question the direction you are moving toward. Maybe you have failed many times. Maybe people underestimated you. Maybe life became harder than expected. Maybe you feel emotionally exhausted. Maybe you no longer believe in yourself completely. But this introduction carries one important message. Your story is not finished. Human beings can rebuild themselves again and again. A weak mindset can become powerful. Fear can become courage. Pain can become wisdom. Failure can become a new beginning. The person you are today does not have to remain the person you become tomorrow. As you continue reading this book, allow yourself to think deeply. Do not rush through the pages. Read slowly, reflect honestly. Allow the words to challenge your thinking, because transformation begins when truth enters the mind. Perhaps one single night with this book may become the beginning of a completely different life. Perhaps this night may awaken the strength you forgot existed inside you. Perhaps this night may finally become the moment when you decide to stop surviving and start truly living. Chapter 1. The night that changes the mind. There comes a night in human life that feels different from every other night. The room may remain the same, the city may remain the same, The problems may still exist, yet something inside begins to change quietly. A deep realization enters the mind, and suddenly a person starts seeing life differently. That night does not arrive with celebration noise or warning. It often arrives during silence, loneliness, failure, heartbreak, exhaustion, or disappointment. Most people spend years living unconsciously. They wake up every morning repeating the same habits, thinking the same thoughts, making the same excuses, and avoiding the same fears. Days become months and months become years while life slowly passes without real growth. Many individuals become trapped inside routines that destroy ambition, confidence, and peace. They continue surviving, but they stop truly living. The dangerous thing about this kind of life is that it feels normal. A person becomes comfortable inside weakness, comfortable inside procrastination, comfortable inside negative thinking, comfortable inside fear. Slowly the mind accepts limitation as reality. Dreams become smaller, energy becomes weaker, and hope becomes distant then. One night everything changes. A person sits alone and begins thinking honestly. Maybe failure forced this moment. Maybe pain created this moment. Maybe loneliness opened the door to deep reflection. Whatever the reason, something powerful begins happening inside the mind. For the first time, the individual stops blaming the world completely and starts questioning personal choices. That moment is painful because truth is painful. Truth forces people to see wasted time, wasted potential, broken habits, unhealthy relationships, and ignored responsibilities. Truth removes the comfort of excuses, yet truth also creates freedom because a person cannot change what they refuse to confront. Honestly, many people believe transformation begins with motivation, but real transformation begins with awareness. Awareness is the moment when illusion breaks and reality becomes clear. A person suddenly understands that life will not improve automatically. The future will not become better without discipline, action, sacrifice, and consistency. This realization shocks the mind deeply. A young man once lived without direction. He spent most of his time chasing entertainment, avoiding responsibility, and blaming circumstances for every failure. He believed successful people were simply lucky. He envied others constantly while refusing to improve himself internally. Years passed and nothing changed. His confidence became weaker because deep inside he knew he was wasting his own potential. One night, he returned home after another disappointing day. He looked at himself honestly and realized something painful. Nobody was destroying his future except himself. That realization hurt his pride, but awakened his mind completely. He understood that excuses had become chains around his life. That night he made a decision. He decided to stop escaping reality. He decided to stop wasting time. He decided to stop waiting for motivation. He decided to rebuild himself slowly through discipline and responsibility. The next morning, nothing magical happened. The world did not suddenly become easier, yet something important had changed. His mindset changed. For the first time, he accepted responsibility for his own future. This is where true transformation always begins. Human beings possess extraordinary power, but most people never discover it because they continuously distract themselves. Modern life provides endless opportunities to escape reality through entertainment, social media addiction, unhealthy habits, and meaningless comparison. Instead of confronting inner weakness, many people numb themselves with temporary pleasure. Temporary pleasure creates permanent emptiness. The human soul needs purpose, growth, and meaning. Without these things, people feel lost, even when surrounded by comfort. This is why many individuals who appear successful externally still feel broken internally. Money alone cannot create peace. Attention alone cannot create fulfillment. Pleasure alone cannot create purpose. A meaningful life requires awareness, discipline, and honesty. The night that changes the mind is often uncomfortable because growth begins when comfort ends. A person starts realizing how many opportunities were wasted through fear, laziness, self-doubt, and hesitation. Regret enters the heart, but regret can become useful. If it creates action instead of despair, some individuals allow regret to destroy them. Others allow regret to awaken them. Awakened, people begin understanding time differently. They realize that every day matters, every decision matters, every habit matters. Small actions repeated daily eventually shape destiny. This understanding creates urgency because life moves forward continuously. Whether a person grows or remains stagnant, the mind begins asking powerful questions. What kind of person I am I becoming? What habits are controlling my future? What fears are limiting my potential? What excuses have I accepted for too long? What would happen if I truly disciplined myself? These questions create internal awakening because they force deep self-reflection. Self-reflection is rare in modern society. Most people are busy reacting to life instead of understanding life. They react emotionally, impulsively, and unconsciously because they never pause long enough to examine their own thoughts, behaviors, and direction. The night that changes the mind creates pause. During this pause, the individual finally sees reality clearly. Reality may feel harsh at first, but clarity is more valuable than comfortable illusion. A painful truth can improve life while a comforting lie slowly destroys life. Many people secretly know what must change. They know unhealthy habits are damaging their future. They know fear is preventing growth. They know discipline is missing. They know relationships are unhealthy. They know procrastination is stealing years of life. Yet knowing is not enough. Action must follow awareness. Difference between ordinary people and transformed people is not intelligence, talent, or luck. The difference is decision. A strong decision repeated through consistent action changes identity completely. Identity is built daily. A person who trains discipline daily becomes disciplined. A person who practices courage daily becomes courageous. A person who faces fear daily becomes stronger. A person who accepts responsibility daily becomes powerful. Transformation is never instant, but it is always possible. Many individuals fail because they search for dramatic overnight success. Real growth usually happens quietly. A person reads one more page, practices one more hour, wakes up slightly earlier, thinks more positively, and slowly develops stronger habits. Day after day, these small changes create massive long-term results. Night that changes the mind does not create immediate perfection. It creates a new direction. Direction matters more than speed because even slow progress eventually reaches destinations, while standing still changes nothing. One important truth must be understood clearly. Nobody can live your life for you. Other people may advise, support, or inspire. But ultimately, every human being must choose personal responsibility. No teacher, parent, friend, or motivational speaker can replace self-discipline. This realization creates both fear and freedom. Fear because responsibility feels heavy. Freedom because responsibility gives control. When people stop blaming others, they regain power over their own future. A victim mindset creates helplessness, while a responsible mindset creates possibility. This chapter is not asking for perfection. It is asking for honesty. Honesty about habits, honesty about fears, honesty about wasted time, honesty about hidden potential. A person who becomes brutally honest with themselves begins developing real strength because self-awareness destroys illusion. Many people fear silence because silence reveals truth. During silent nights, distractions disappear, and reality becomes impossible to ignore. The mind starts remembering forgotten dreams, ignored goals, and wasted opportunities. These moments can feel emotionally intense, yet they are often necessary for transformation. Painful awareness is better than comfortable ignorance. The strongest individuals in life are not always the most talented. They are often the most aware. They understand their weaknesses clearly and work consistently to improve themselves instead of pretending everything is fine. Pretending delays growth. Honesty accelerates growth. Human mind becomes stronger through challenge. Every difficult realization, every uncomfortable truth, and every moment of deep reflection can become fuel for transformation. If approached correctly, one single night can begin changing an entire future. A tired person can become disciplined. A fearful person can become courageous. A weak mindset can become powerful. A confused life can become meaningful. But none of this happens accidentally. Change begins with a decision. The decision to wake up mentally. The decision to face reality honestly. The decision to stop escaping responsibility. The decision to become stronger than yesterday. This chapter carries a simple but life-changing message. The moment you stop lying to yourself is the moment your transformation truly begins. Chapter 2. The pain that builds strength. Pain is one of the few experiences shared by every human being. No person escapes struggle completely. Rich or poor, famous or unknown, strong or weak, every individual eventually faces moments of disappointment, heartbreak, fear, failure, loss, or loneliness. Pain enters human life in different forms, but its existence is unavoidable. The real difference between people is not whether pain exists. The real difference is how people respond to pain. Some people allow pain to destroy their spirit. They become bitter, angry, hopeless, and emotionally weak. They lose trust in themselves and slowly stop trying. Their suffering turns into permanent negativity because they never learn how to transform pain into strength. Other people experience the same pain, yet become stronger, wiser, calmer, and more determined. They use suffering as fuel instead of surrendering to it. These individuals understand an important truth. Pain can either become a prison or a teacher. Most people spend their lives trying to avoid discomfort completely. They seek easy paths, easy relationships, easy success, and easy pleasure. Yet comfort rarely creates growth. Human beings evolve emotionally, mentally, and spiritually through challenge. Difficulty forces hidden strength to awaken. A muscle becomes stronger through resistance. The mind becomes stronger through struggle. Character becomes stronger through hardship. This is why painful experiences often become turning points in human life. A young woman once dreamed of building her own business. She invested years of effort, energy, and hope into her work. She believed success would eventually arrive because she worked harder than many people around her. Yet after several difficult financial losses, everything collapsed. Her business failed completely. The failure destroyed her confidence. Friends disappeared. People criticized her decisions. Family members questioned her abilities. Fear entered her mind every single day. At night she cried silently because she felt like a complete failure. She believed her dreams had died permanently. The emotional pain became heavier than the financial loss itself because she started doubting her own worth. For several months, she isolated herself from the world. She stopped believing in the future. She compared herself to successful people and felt ashamed every time she looked at her own life. Then one evening she realized something important. Her failure had not destroyed her abilities. It had revealed her weaknesses. This realization changed everything. Instead of asking why life was unfair, she started asking deeper questions. What mistakes did I make? What knowledge was missing? How can I become stronger from this experience? Slowly, her mindset changed. She began studying business more seriously. She improved communication skills. She learned financial discipline. She trained emotional resilience. The process was painful and slow, but she continued moving forward. Eventually, she created another business, stronger than the first one, because this time wisdom existed alongside ambition. Her pain became education. Her struggle became strength. Her failure became preparation. This is the hidden power inside suffering. Pain forces people to confront themselves honestly. During comfortable seasons, many weaknesses remain hidden. A person may believe they are strong until life tests patience, discipline, faith, and emotional endurance. Hardship exposes reality clearly. Some Individuals break under pressure. Others discover strength they never knew existed. The human mind often grows most during dark seasons because suffering creates reflection. Reflection creates awareness, and awareness creates transformation. Many people ask why painful experiences happen in life. This question has existed throughout human history. Perhaps a more useful question is this: what can pain teach me? Pain teaches patience because healing takes time. Pain teaches empathy because suffering increases understanding of others. Pain teaches humility because hardship destroys arrogance. Pain teaches resilience because survival builds inner endurance. A life without struggle might appear attractive, but such a life would rarely produce deep wisdom or emotional maturity. Most powerful individuals developed strength through adversity, not comfort. Consider the lives of people admired throughout history. Many faced rejection, criticism, loss, poverty, or repeated failure before achieving greatness. Their struggles shaped character and strengthened determination. Difficulty often prepares people for responsibilities they could not handle earlier. Unfortunately, modern society teaches people to escape discomfort constantly. People seek distraction whenever pain appears. Instead of confronting emotional wounds, they bury themselves inside. Entertainment addictions, unhealthy relationships, or endless noise. Temporary distraction may numb pain briefly, but unhealed pain eventually returns stronger. Real healing begins when a person faces suffering honestly. This requires courage, because emotional pain can feel overwhelming. Sometimes the mind wants to escape reality completely, yet avoiding pain only delays growth. Healing demands patience, honesty, and self-awareness. There are nights when people feel emotionally exhausted. They question life, they question purpose, they question their own strength. During these moments, it becomes easy to lose hope. Yet difficult seasons are often temporary, even when they feel endless. Human beings are far more resilient than they realize. A young athlete once suffered a severe injury before an important competition. Doctors told him recovery would take many months. His dreams seemed destroyed instantly. Depression entered his mind because sports had become his identity. Without competition, he felt worthless. At first, he became angry and hopeless. He envied healthy athletes and isolated himself emotionally. But over time, he realized something powerful. His injury was teaching him mental strength. While recovering, he developed patience, discipline, gratitude, and emotional maturity, qualities he previously ignored while focusing only on physical performance. When he eventually returned to sports, he became mentally stronger than before because pain had expanded his character. Life sometimes removes comfort to reveal hidden strength. This does not mean pain always feels meaningful immediately. Many painful experiences remain confusing while happening. Some wounds require years before lessons become visible, yet growth often develops quietly beneath suffering. Seeds grow underground before becoming visible externally. The same happens with human transformation. A person enduring hardship may feel weak externally while becoming stronger internally. Every challenge survived increases emotional endurance. Every obstacle faced builds deeper resilience. One important truth must be understood clearly: strength is not the absence of emotion. Strong people still cry. Strong people still feel fear. Strong people still experience heartbreak. Real strength means continuing forward despite emotional pain. Many individuals mistakenly believe vulnerability equals weakness. In reality, honest vulnerability often requires tremendous courage. Pretending to be emotionally perfect creates internal pressure, while honest self-awareness allows healing and growth. Pain also teaches appreciation. People who experience loneliness value genuine connection more deeply. People who experience failure appreciate opportunity more deeply. People who experience illness appreciate health more deeply. Suffering changes perspective because it removes illusion. A person who survives difficult seasons often develops deeper gratitude for simple moments that others ignore. A peaceful conversation, good health, supportive relationships, and quiet. Mornings begin carrying greater meaning. Pain sharpens awareness of what truly matters. Some people spend years chasing superficial success, only to realize later that inner peace, relationships, and purpose hold greater value than material possessions. Hardship often reveals these truths more clearly than comfort ever could. This chapter is not encouraging unnecessary suffering. It is encouraging a different understanding of suffering. Pain does not automatically create wisdom. Reflection creates wisdom. A bitter person and a wise person may experience identical hardship, yet develop completely different outcomes depending on mindset. One becomes resentful, the other becomes resilient. Every painful experience contains potential lessons, but those lessons appear only when individuals choose growth over victimhood. Victimhood traps people inside permanent helplessness. Responsibility creates movement and healing. This does not mean blaming yourself for every hardship. Some pain enters life unfairly. Some wounds are created by other people. Some losses cannot be controlled, yet even during uncontrollable suffering, human beings still control response, attitude, and future decisions. That control matters deeply. The strongest people are not always those who avoid falling. The strongest people are those who continue rising. Human life will always contain uncertainty, disappointment, and struggle. No motivational speech can remove every difficulty. Yet understanding pain differently changes emotional resilience completely. Instead of asking, "Why is life hurting me?" stronger mindset asks, "How can this experience build me?" That question transforms suffering into opportunity for growth. One painful season can create wisdom that protects an entire future. One difficult experience can awaken discipline, courage, and emotional strength. One heartbreak can lead to deeper self-understanding. One failure can create future success. Pain becomes powerful when it creates transformation instead of surrender. Some point, every person reaches a moment where two paths appear. One path leads toward bitterness, excuses, and emotional defeat. The other path leads toward growth, resilience, and inner strength. Decision between these paths shapes destiny. This chapter carries one important truth: your pain is not always the end of your story. Sometimes pain is the beginning of your strongest transformation. Chapter 3: Discipline is greater than motivation. Many people wait their entire lives for motivation. They believe success begins when they finally feel inspired, energized, confident, and ready. They watch motivational videos, read powerful quotes, and dream about a better future for themselves. For a short period, they feel excited. Their minds become filled with ambition and possibility. Then reality arrives. The alarm rings early in the morning. The work becomes difficult. The body feels tired. The mind loses excitement. Distractions appear everywhere. Suddenly motivation disappears. This is where most people stop. They wait again for another emotional wave of inspiration before taking action. Yet motivation is temporary. Human emotions constantly change. Some days a person feels powerful and focused. Other days the same person feels weak, confused, and exhausted. If success depends only on feelings, then consistency becomes impossible. This is why discipline matters more than motivation. Discipline continues when emotions disappear. Discipline works during difficult days. Discipline creates action even without excitement. A disciplined person understands an important truth: feelings cannot always be trusted, but habits can. Many individuals destroy their own potential because they only act when they feel motivated. They study only when inspired. They exercise only when excited. They work on goals only when energy feels high. As a result, progress becomes inconsistent and weak. Greatness is never built through inconsistency. Strong lives are built through repeated daily action, even when motivation is absent. Young student once dreamed of becoming a doctor. He spoke constantly about success and imagined a bright future for himself. Yet his daily habits told a different story. He wasted hours scrolling through meaningless contents, sleeping excessively, avoiding difficult work and delaying important responsibilities. Every week he promised himself change tomorrow. I will become serious tomorrow. I will focus tomorrow. I will discipline myself. But tomorrow kept disappearing. Years began passing while his dreams remained unchanged, because dreams alone do not create results. Action creates results. Night he realized something painful. He loved the idea of success more than the process required to achieve success. This realization shocked him deeply, because he finally understood the difference between fantasy and discipline. Successful people are not successful because they constantly feel inspired. They become successful because they continue working when inspiration fades. The student decided to change slowly. He created a simple routine. He woke up earlier. He reduced distractions. He studied daily even when tired at first. The process felt uncomfortable. His mind resisted discipline because comfort had controlled his habits for years. Yet repetition slowly created transformation. Weeks became months. Months became years. Eventually, discipline changed his identity completely. He no longer depended on temporary motivation because disciplined habits became part of his character. This is how real transformation happens. Human beings often underestimate the power of repetition. Small actions repeated daily become powerful forces over time. 1 hour of focused effort every day becomes hundreds of hours every year. Tiny improvements, practiced consistently, eventually create extraordinary results. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. A person disciplines the mind, body, and habits. They are proving belief in their own future. Every disciplined action becomes evidence that growth matters more than comfort. Unfortunately, modern society encourages distraction constantly. People are surrounded by endless entertainment, instant pleasure, and short-term dopamine. Many individuals lose the ability to focus deeply because their minds become addicted to stimulation. This creates dangerous weakness. A distracted mind struggles to build meaningful success because every goal in life requires sustained effort. Learning skills, building health, creating financial stability, strengthening relationships, and developing wisdom all demand consistency. Consistency requires discipline. There will always be reasons to quit. The weather feels bad, energy feels low, results appear slow. Fear enters the mind. Other people doubt your ability. Without discipline, these obstacles become excuses. Disciplined individuals understand something powerful. Temporary discomfort creates long-term freedom. Waking early may feel difficult now, but laziness creates future regret. Training the body may feel painful now, but poor health creates future suffering. Studying may feel exhausting now, but ignorance creates future limitation. Every choice carries consequences. Undisciplined habits usually provide immediate comfort, but future pain. Disciplined habits usually require immediate effort, but create future reward. This is one of the greatest realities of life. Successful people often sacrifice temporary pleasure for long-term purpose, while unsuccessful people sacrifice long-term purpose for temporary pleasure. A factory worker once dreamed of changing his financial situation. He wanted better opportunities, but constantly complained about exhaustion after work. Every evening, he spent hours watching entertainment. Instead of improving skills, one day, he met an older man who asked him a simple question: how badly do you truly want change? The question remained inside his mind for days, because deep inside he knew the truth. He wanted comfort more than growth. That realization changed his perspective. He began using 2 hours every night to learn new technical skills. At first, the process felt difficult because his mind preferred easy entertainment. Yet discipline slowly strengthened his focus and confidence. After several years, his entire life changed. Because daily discipline created opportunities, his previous habits could never produce. This is why discipline becomes life-changing. Discipline builds confidence because every completed action proves personal control. A person who repeatedly keeps promises to themselves develops self-trust. Self-trust creates emotional strength. Meanwhile, people who constantly break promises to themselves slowly destroy confidence internally. If someone says, "I will wake up early, I will improve my habits, I will work on my goals," yet continuously fails to act, the subconscious mind stops believing future promises. Confidence weakens because actions and words no longer match. Discipline repairs this internal damage. Disciplined choice sends a message to the mind: I am becoming stronger. I can trust myself. I can control my actions. Over time, this mindset creates powerful identity transformation. Many people believe discipline removes freedom. In reality, discipline creates freedom. Financial discipline creates economic freedom. Health discipline creates physical freedom. Mental discipline creates emotional freedom. Time discipline creates productive freedom. Without discipline, people become controlled by impulses, emotions, distractions, and bad habits. True freedom requires self-control. One important truth must be understood clearly: discipline is not built instantly. At first, disciplined living feels uncomfortable because the brain naturally seeks familiar patterns. Even positive change may feel difficult because old habits resist transformation. This is normally a person who spent years living without structure cannot expect immediate mastery of discipline. Patience matters deeply during growth. Small, consistent improvements matter more than dramatic temporary effort. Some people become extremely motivated for 1 week, then completely quit. Others improve slowly, but continue steadily for years. The second group almost always achieves greater success. Because consistency defeats intensity without endurance, discipline also requires sacrifice. Sometimes rest be sacrificed for learning. Sometimes comfort must be sacrificed for growth. Sometimes entertainment must be sacrificed for purpose. Weak minds see sacrifice as suffering. Strong minds see sacrifice as investment. Every meaningful achievement demands some level of sacrifice because growth always costs something. The good news is this: discipline becomes easier with repetition. A person who exercises daily eventually feels strange without exercise. A person who studies daily eventually develops stronger focus naturally. A person who wakes early consistently eventually adjusts mentally and physically. Habits shape identity. This means every repeated action is either building a stronger future or weakening potential. There is no neutral direction. Every day, people are either becoming more disciplined or more distracted, more focused or more careless, more powerful or more dependent on comfort. Life constantly moves according to repeated behavior. Many individuals search endlessly for secrets of success, while ignoring the obvious truth: success is usually hidden inside ordinary daily discipline. The athlete trains consistently. The writer writes consistently. The entrepreneur works consistently. The musician practices consistently. Mastery grows through repetition, not glamorous repetition, not exciting repetition, simple, disciplined repetition. This chapter is not asking for perfection. It is asking for commitment to growth, even during difficult days. Commitment to action, even without motivation. Commitment to discipline, even when comfort feels attractive. A powerful future is not created through occasional inspiration. It is created through daily disciplined behavior, repeated over long periods of time. 1 disciplined day may not change life immediately, but disciplined years change everything. The human mind becomes stronger every time it chooses purpose over comfort. That is the hidden power of discipline. Motivation may start the journey, but discipline finishes it. Chapter 4: The Silent War Inside the Mind. Every human being carries an invisible world inside the mind, a world filled with thoughts, fears, memories, insecurities, dreams, and silent conversations that nobody else can fully hear. From the outside, a person may appear calm, confident, and successful, yet inside there may exist chaos, anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion. This is the silent war, a battle that happens quietly every day. Inside millions of minds around the world, some people fight fear, some fight loneliness. Some fight painful memories, some fight feelings of worthlessness, some fight negative thoughts they cannot easily control. The dangerous thing about mental battles is that they are often invisible because the wounds cannot always be seen. People underestimate their power, yet the mind controls emotions, decisions, habits, relationships, and direction in life. A damaged mindset can destroy a bright future, while a strong mindset can rebuild a broken life. Many people spend years fighting external problems without realizing the greatest struggle exists internally. A person may have opportunities but lack confidence. A person may have talent but fear failure. A person may have dreams but constantly overthink every step. The mind becomes either the greatest supporter or the greatest enemy. This is why understanding inner thoughts matters deeply. Human beings believe what they repeat to themselves continuously. If a person constantly says, "I am weak," "I will fail," "I am not good enough," nothing will change. Eventually, the subconscious mind begins accepting these thoughts as truth. Actions then follow those beliefs, and life slowly becomes limited by internal negativity. Thoughts shape behavior. Behavior shapes habits. Habits shape destiny. This is one of the most important realities of human psychology. Young man once grew up surrounded by criticism. Teachers compared him with smarter students. Family members constantly reminded him of mistakes. Friends mocked his ambition. Slowly and repeatedly, these experiences created deep insecurity inside his mind. As he became older, he stopped believing in himself completely. Whenever opportunities appeared, fear entered immediately. What if I fail? What if people laugh at me? What if I am not capable enough? Because of these thoughts, he avoided challenges and remained trapped inside comfort zones. His life became smaller, not because of lack of ability, but because of lack of belief. One evening, after another disappointing experience, he sat alone thinking deeply. He realized something painful. The voices from his past had become his own voice. Even when nobody criticized him anymore, he continued criticizing himself internally. The war was no longer happening outside. The war was happening inside his own mind. This realization became the beginning of transformation. He started observing his thoughts carefully. He noticed how negativity controlled decisions. He noticed how fear weakened confidence. He noticed how overthinking destroyed action. Slowly, he began changing mental habits. Every day he challenged negative beliefs. Every day he practiced positive self-talk. Every day he took small actions despite fear. The process was not easy because the mind resists change, especially after years of negativity. Yet repetition slowly created new thinking patterns. Over time, confidence grew because his internal voice became supportive instead of destructive. This story reflects the reality of countless people. Many individuals are prisoners of their own thoughts. The human mind is extremely powerful. When directed positively, it creates resilience, creativity, courage, and discipline. When filled with negativity, it creates fear, anxiety, hopelessness, and emotional paralysis. Modern life increases mental pressure dramatically. People constantly compare themselves with unrealistic images online. They seek approval from strangers, fear judgment, and measure self-worth through external validation. As a result, many minds remain exhausted. Continuously comparison creates insecurity. Insecurity creates overthinking. Overthinking creates emotional suffering. The mind becomes trapped inside endless cycles of doubt. One important truth must be understood clearly: not every thought deserves belief. Human beings experience thousands of thoughts daily. Some thoughts are useful, while others are irrational, fearful, or emotionally distorted. Yet many people automatically believe every negative thought appearing inside the mind. This creates unnecessary suffering. A fearful thought is not always reality. An anxious thought is not always truth. A negative prediction is not always destiny. Strong individuals learn to question destructive thinking. instead of surrendering to it. Mental discipline becomes essential because uncontrolled thoughts can slowly poison emotional well-being. A person constantly focused on worst-case scenarios eventually feels hopeless. A person constantly focused on personal weakness eventually feels powerless. A person constantly focused on failure eventually stops trying. The mind follows repeated focus. This is why protecting mental energy matters deeply. The books people read, the conversations they hear, the environments they remain inside, the content they consume daily, all of these things influence thought patterns. Negative environments create negative thinking. Positive environments encourage stronger thinking. A woman once worked inside a toxic workplace where criticism, gossip, and negativity existed constantly. Every day she returned home, emotionally exhausted, because the environment slowly affected her mental state. She began doubting herself, despite being talented and hardworking. Eventually, she realized that protecting her mental health required changing surroundings. She found healthier environments, supportive people, and positive influences. Slowly, her emotional strength returned because her mind was no longer under constant attack. This demonstrates an important truth. The mind absorbs energy from surroundings. People must become careful about what enters their mental space continuously because repeated exposure shapes emotional reality. Another major battle inside the mind is fear of failure. Many individuals never pursue goals because they fear embarrassment, rejection, or disappointment. They imagine failure so intensely that they avoid action completely. Yet avoiding failure also prevents growth, achievement, and self-discovery. The mind often exaggerates danger. A person may fear public speaking for years only to realize later that the experience was manageable. A person may fear starting a business, yet discover unexpected capability after taking action. A person may fear rejection, yet realize rejection was never fatal. Fear grows larger inside imagination than inside reality. This is why courageous action matters. Courage does not mean absence of fear. Courage means movement despite fear. Every courageous step weakens mental limitations slightly. Over time, confidence develops because the mind learns survival is possible even during discomfort. Another silent enemy inside the mind is overthinking. Gokting destroys peace because the mind becomes trapped analyzing every possibility endlessly. Decisions become difficult. Action becomes delayed. Anxiety increases continuously. Some people think constantly yet act rarely. They imagine future problems before problems even exist. They replay past mistakes repeatedly. They search for perfect certainty before moving forward, but life never offers complete certainty. At some point, action becomes necessary. Mind grows stronger through balanced thinking and purposeful movement, not endless mental chaos. Silence also plays an important role in mental health. Modern society is filled with noise, notifications, distractions, and stimulation. Many people never spend time alone with their own thoughts because silence feels uncomfortable. Yet silence often reveals important truths. During quiet moments, people begin understanding themselves more deeply. They recognize hidden fears. They recognize emotional wounds. They recognize desires and dreams buried beneath distraction. Self-awareness increases during stillness. This is why strong individuals often value moments of solitude. Reflection sharpens understanding, while constant distraction weakens self-connection. Mental battles cannot always be solved instantly. Some wounds require time, healing, patience, and support, yet improvement remains possible because the human mind can adapt, transform, and strengthen through consistent effort. Small mental habits create major long-term effects. Practicing gratitude changes focus. Practicing discipline increases confidence. Practicing positive thinking reshapes identity. Practicing courage weakens fear. The mind changes gradually through repetition. A person who continuously feeds negativity weakens mentally. A person who continuously feeds growth strengthens mentally. This chapter is not saying life becomes perfect after controlling. Thoughts, negative emotions will still appear, difficult moments will still exist. Human beings will always experience internal struggle sometimes. The goal is not perfection. The goal is awareness, and control awareness allows people to recognize destructive patterns. Control allows people to choose healthier responses. Strong minds are not minds without problems. Strong minds are minds that refuse surrender. Every human being faces inner battles, but those battles do not have to define destiny. The mind can heal. The mind can grow. The mind can become stronger than fear, pain, and doubt. One important decision changes everything. The decision to stop becoming a victim of your own thoughts. When people learn to guide the mind instead of being controlled by it, they begin discovering true inner power. The greatest prison in life is often invisible, and the greatest freedom begins inside the mind. Chapter 5. The truth about success. Almost every human being desires success in some form. Some people want money. Some want fame. Some want respect, power, recognition, freedom, or luxury. From childhood, society teaches people to chase achievement continuously. Schools reward performance. Families celebrate status. Social media glorifies wealth and attention. As a result, millions grow up believing success means becoming richer, more famous, and more admired than others. Yet many people reach these goals and still feel empty inside. This is the hidden truth very few understand. External success does not automatically create internal peace. A person may own expensive possessions, yet struggle with anxiety every night. A person may become famous, yet feel deeply lonely. A person may earn millions, yet lose meaning, purpose, and emotional balance. Success without inner stability often creates silent suffering. Modern society frequently confuses image with fulfillment. People see luxury cars, beautiful houses, expensive clothes, and public attention, and assume happiness exists automatically behind those things. But human life is more complex than appearances. Some individuals appear successful publicly while secretly collapsing privately. This is why understanding the true meaning of success matters deeply. Real success is not only about what a person owns. Real success is about who a person becomes. Character, discipline, emotional strength, wisdom, integrity, peace, and purpose matter far more than temporary external validation. Unfortunately, many individuals sacrifice health, relationships, morality, and peace while chasing material achievement. They become obsessed with proving worth to the world while neglecting the condition of their own soul. A businessman once spent 20 years building financial success. He worked constantly, traveled endlessly, and focused only on money. His company grew rapidly, and society admired his achievements. People praised his discipline, ambition, and status externally. He appeared victorious internally. He was exhausted. He rarely spent time with family. He ignored health completely. He lost emotional connection with himself. He constantly felt pressure, fear, and emptiness. One evening, after experiencing severe physical exhaustion, he sat alone inside his expensive home, realizing something painful. He had achieved financial success but lost personal peace. For the first time in years, he questioned his entire definition of success. Was success only money? Was success only status? Was success meaningless if emotional well-being disappeared? These questions changed his life completely. Slowly, he began rebuilding neglected areas of life. He improved health habits. He repaired family relationships. He reduced unnecessary stress. He searched for purpose beyond financial achievement. Over time, he discovered something powerful. Balance creates fulfillment more than excess. Realization transformed his understanding of success permanently. People never reach this understanding because society constantly pressures individuals toward endless comparison. Human beings begin measuring worth through income, followers, popularity, and possessions. Instead of asking, am I growing peacefully? Am I becoming wiser? Am I living meaningfully? People ask, am I ahead of others comparison creates endless dissatisfaction because there will always be someone richer, younger, more attractive, or more successful externally. A person trapped inside comparison can never experience peace fully true. Success begins when individuals stop building life only for public approval, living for external validation. Creates emotional imprisonment because self-worth becomes dependent on opinions, applause, and recognition. The problem with external validation is simple. It is temporary and unstable. People praise today and criticize tomorrow. Trends change constantly. Public attention fades quickly. A person who depends entirely on outside approval eventually becomes emotionally weak. Strong individuals build internal validation. First, they develop values, principles, discipline, and self-respect independent of public opinion. Their confidence comes from character rather than applause. This creates emotional stability. One important truth must be understood clearly. Success is deeply personal. Not everyone wants the same life. Not everyone values the same goals. Not everyone follows the same path. Some people feel fulfilled building businesses. Some feel fulfilled raising families. Some feel fulfilled serving communities, teaching, creating, healing, or inspiring others. The danger appears when people blindly chase goals that do not align with personal values. Society may celebrate certain achievements while ignoring inner fulfillment completely. A young lawyer once entered a prestigious career because his family expected financial success. Everyone praised his achievements externally, yet internally he felt emotionally disconnected from his work. Every day became mentally exhausting because he was living according to expectation rather than purpose. After years of inner conflict, he finally accepted a difficult truth. He respected the profession, but did not love the life attached to it. Eventually, he pursued a different career path, focused on education and mentorship. Although his income became smaller, his emotional fulfillment increased dramatically because his work aligned with personal meaning. This story reflects an important reality. A successful life must match personal truth, not only social expectation. Another dangerous misunderstanding about success involves shortcuts. Many people desire rewards without process. They want wealth without discipline, confidence without struggle, health without effort, and achievement without sacrifice. Yet meaningful success almost always requires patience, consistency, and resilience. Quick success often creates weak foundations. Strong foundations are built slowly. The athlete trains for years. The writer practices for years. The entrepreneur fails repeatedly before succeeding. The musician repeats endless hours of practice. Mastery grows through dedication, not instant gratification. This is why discipline matters more than temporary excitement. Real success also includes emotional intelligence. A person may become financially successful, yet remain emotionally immature. Such individuals often struggle with relationships, communication, empathy, and self-awareness. Despite external achievement, emotional intelligence allows people to manage emotions, understand others, and maintain healthier relationships. It creates balance during stressful situations and improves leadership, trust, and connection. A successful life without emotional maturity often becomes lonely and unstable. Another important element of success is health. Many individuals destroy physical and mental well-being while chasing goals endlessly. They sacrifice sleep, peace, movement, and balance, believing exhaustion equals achievement. Yet poor health eventually weakens every other area of life. Tired, unhealthy mind struggles to experience fulfillment even during achievement. Sustainable success requires caring for both ambition and well-being. This includes rest, nutrition, movement, reflection, and emotional healing. A person who becomes successful externally while collapsing internally eventually realizes imbalance cannot continue forever. True success supports life rather than destroying it. Contribution also plays a major role in meaningful success. Human beings naturally seek purpose beyond selfish accumulation. Possessions alone rarely create deep fulfillment. Lasting satisfaction often grows when individuals positively impact others through kindness, guidance, creativity, service, honesty, or leadership. People remember how others made them feel more than material displays. A teacher inspiring students, a parent raising children with love, a mentor guiding lost individuals, a doctor healing patients. These forms of success carry profound meaning because they influence lives beyond personal gain. Contribution gives purpose to achievement. One elderly man lived a simple life without great wealth or fame, yet throughout decades, he continuously helped young people in his neighborhood. He encouraged struggling students, offered advice, supported families, and treated others with compassion. He became old hundreds respected and loved him deeply because his life created positive impact. His success existed in relationships, influence, and character, not material status. This demonstrates an important truth. A meaningful life creates value beyond the self. Another hidden reality about success is sacrifice. Every meaningful path requires giving up something. Time must be invested. Comfort must be sacrificed. Discipline must replace laziness. Patience must replace instant gratification. Weak minds resist sacrifice because they seek immediate pleasure. Strong minds accept sacrifice because they understand future reward. Success demands responsibility. Responsibility for habits, responsibility for choices, responsibility for emotional growth, responsibility for personal direction. Excuses prevent growth, while responsibility creates power. Many people secretly want success, but avoid the responsibilities attached to it. They admire outcomes while avoiding process. Yet process determines destiny. No meaningful achievement appears accidentally. This chapter is not saying money, ambition, or achievement are bad. Financial stability matters. Goals matter. Growth matters. The problem begins when external achievement becomes the only definition of success. Human beings need more than possessions. They need peace, purpose, connection, growth, integrity, self-respect. Without these things, external achievement often feels empty after temporary excitement disappears. Real success is balance between ambition and peace, balance between work and health, balance between achievement and relationships, balance between external growth and internal growth. A truly successful person becomes stronger mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, not only financially. The end of life, people rarely regret not owning more luxury. Most regret wasted time, broken relationships, neglected health, ignored dreams, and absence of meaning. This reveals the deepest truth about success. Success is not simply about reaching higher positions. Success is about becoming a better human being. While climbing, the world may admire wealth, but the soul values peace. The world may celebrate fame, but the heart values meaning. The world may praise power, but true fulfillment comes from purpose, character, and inner strength. A person who gains everything externally while losing themselves internally is not truly successful. Real success means building a life you can respect privately, not only a life others admire publicly. That is the truth many people discover too late, and that truth can change an entire life forever. Chapter 6. The danger of excuses. One of the greatest enemies of human potential is not failure. It is excuses. Failure can teach lessons. Failure can build wisdom. Failure can strengthen discipline, but excuses destroy growth completely. Because excuses prevent responsibility, a person who constantly makes excuses never truly confronts reality honestly. As long as excuses exist, transformation remains impossible. Many people dream about changing their lives. They want success. They want peace. They want confidence. They want financial stability. They want stronger health and better opportunities. Despite these desires, years continue passing without meaningful progress because excuses quietly control daily behavior. Some excuses sound reasonable. I do not have enough time. I am too tired. I will start later. My situation is difficult. Other people had more advantages. I am waiting for the right moment. These statements may contain partial truth, but repeated excuses eventually become mental prisons. They create comfort in stagnation, while life slowly moves forward without improvement. Excuses protect people from temporary discomfort, but create permanent regret. Human beings naturally avoid pain. Responsibility feels heavy. Discipline feels difficult. Change feels uncomfortable. Excuses provide emotional escape because they remove immediate pressure. When a person says, "I failed because of bad luck," mind avoids personal accountability. Temporarily, when a person says, "I cannot improve because life is unfair," the mind avoids difficult self-reflection. This creates dangerous weakness because growth begins only when responsibility is accepted fully. A young factory worker once dreamed of building a better future. He wanted financial freedom and respected successful people deeply. Yet every evening after work, he returned home exhausted and spent hours watching entertainment instead of improving himself. Whenever someone encouraged growth, he responded with excuses. "I work too much. I am too tired. People like me never succeed. Maybe one day things will change." Years passed and nothing changed. One evening he met an older man who listened carefully to his complaints. After hearing every excuse, the older man asked one simple question: "How long will you continue explaining your life instead of changing it?" The question shocked him deeply because he suddenly realized something painful. His excuses had become more powerful than his dreams. That realization changed his perspective completely. Started using small amounts of time differently. Instead of wasting every evening, he began studying skills slowly. Some nights he felt exhausted, but continued anyway because he understood an important truth: waiting for perfect conditions destroys progress. Months later, he became more disciplined. Years later, his life improved dramatically. The biggest difference was not intelligence, talent, or luck. The biggest difference was responsibility. Excuses often feel harmless because they appear normal. Everyone makes excuses sometimes, yet repeated excuses slowly weaken identity. A person who continuously avoids responsibility begins seeing themselves as powerless. Powerlessness creates hopelessness. Hope disappears when individuals believe they lack control over life. This is why responsibility becomes empowering, even when painful. Responsibility returns control to the individual. A person who accepts responsibility says, "My future depends on my actions. My habits influence my destiny. My choices matter daily." This mindset creates strength because it focuses attention on controllable behavior rather than endless external blame. Of course, life is not always fair. Some people experience poverty, some experience trauma, some experience discrimination, rejection, or hardship. These realities are painful and real, yet history repeatedly proves that difficult circumstances do not automatically destroy human potential. Many individuals rise from extreme hardship through resilience, discipline, courage, and persistence. Their success becomes possible because they refuse surrender to excuses. A poor student may not control financial background, but can still control effort, learning, attitude, and discipline. A rejected person may not control other opinions, but can still control self-improvement and persistence. A struggling worker may not control current conditions, but can still control mindset and habits. Control always exists somewhere. Strong individuals focus energy on what can be improved instead of endlessly complaining about what cannot. Weak minds seek sympathy. Strong minds seek solutions. This does not mean ignoring emotions. Pain, frustration, and disappointment are natural human experiences. The danger begins when emotional struggle becomes permanent justification for inaction. Many people become trapped inside victim mentality. Victim mentality convinces individuals that life happens only to them rather than through them. Every setback becomes proof that effort is meaningless. Every obstacle becomes an excuse to quit. This mindset destroys ambition slowly. Victim mentality says, "Why even try?" Responsible mentality says, "What can I still do?" That small difference changes everything. Another dangerous aspect of excuses is delay people often. Believe they will change later. I will improve my health. Later I will start learning. Later I will become disciplined. Later I will chase my dreams. But later becomes next month, next year, next decade. Eventually, life passes while potential remains. Unused time does not pause for hesitation. Every day wasted through excuses becomes part of lost life permanently. This truth may sound uncomfortable, but awareness creates urgency. Human beings possess limited time and energy. Every excuse delaying. Growth carries hidden cost. Middle-aged man once realized he had spent 20 years postponing important goals. He always planned to improve himself someday, but that someday never arrived. One evening he looked honestly at his life and felt deep regret because he understood how much time excuses had stolen from him. Yet, instead of surrendering to regret, he made a decision. He stopped waiting. He began exercising, improving relationships, learning new skills, and living more intentionally. Although he wished he had started earlier, his life still improved dramatically because action replaced excuses. This demonstrates another important truth. It is never too late to stop making excuses. Human beings can change direction at almost any stage of life as long as willingness exists. The future begins changing the moment. Responsibility increases. Excuses also damage confidence. Every time a person avoids responsibility through excuses, the subconscious mind receives a message: I cannot handle difficulty. I cannot trust myself. I will always avoid discomfort. Over time, this weakens self-belief deeply. Meanwhile, disciplined action builds confidence because action proves capability. Confidence grows through evidence, not imagination. A person becomes confident by doing difficult things repeatedly, not by waiting to feel fearless first. This is why excuses and confidence cannot exist together permanently. Excuses create stagnation. Action creates belief. Another hidden danger of excuses involves comparisons. Some people excuse personal inaction by focusing constantly on advantages others possess. They had wealthy parents. They were naturally talented. They had better opportunities. While these factors may influence life, they do not eliminate personal responsibility. Completely focusing on other people wastes mental energy that could improve individual growth. No person controls every circumstance. Every person controls some choices. Successful individuals maximize available opportunities instead of obsessing over unavailable advantages. Even small actions matter. Reading one chapter, practicing 1 hour, saving small amounts of money, improving one habit. These actions may appear insignificant initially, yet consistent effort creates long-term transformation. Excuses ignore the power of small progress because excuses prefer immediate comfort over gradual growth. Discipline requires accepting discomfort temporarily. Waking earlier feels difficult. Studying after work feels difficult. Training the body feels difficult. Changing habits feels difficult. Remaining weak also becomes painful eventually. Undisciplined living creates regret, frustration, insecurity, and missed opportunity. Human beings must choose between two forms of pain: the pain of growth or the pain of stagnation. Strong individuals choose growth because temporary struggle leads toward freedom, while avoidance creates future suffering. One important truth must be understood clearly: nobody owes anyone success. The world does not reward dreams alone. The world rewards action, consistency, responsibility, and persistence. This may sound harsh, but it is empowering because it means transformation remains possible through personal effort. Excuses surrender power. Responsibility creates power. Every successful person eventually reaches moments where excuses feel attractive. They feel tired, discouraged, uncertain, or afraid, yet the difference is simple: they continue anyway. That continuation creates momentum. Momentum creates growth. Growth creates confidence. Excuses interrupt this entire process. This chapter is not demanding perfection. Human beings make mistakes, lose motivation, and experience setbacks. The goal is not becoming flawless. The goal is becoming honest about wasted time, honest about unhealthy habits, honest about fear and procrastination. Honesty allows responsibility. Responsibility creates action. Action creates transformation. At some point, every individual must choose continue explaining life or start changing life. The future belongs to people willing to take responsibility, even during difficult circumstances. Because responsibility awakens inner strength that excuses can never create. Excuses feel comfortable today, but discipline creates freedom tomorrow, and that truth separates ordinary lives from transformed lives. Chapter 7. The Power of Daily Habits. Human life is shaped less by giant decisions and more by small repeated actions. Most people focus only on dramatic moments. They believe success, failure, happiness, and transformation happen suddenly in one powerful event. Yet reality works differently. Life changes slowly through daily habits repeated over long periods of time. Every morning, every choice, every routine, every repeated behavior quietly shapes the future. A person may not notice change immediately because habits work silently. Their effects appear small in the beginning, almost invisible. But with time, these small actions grow stronger until they completely influence identity, health, mindset, finances, relationships, and direction in life. A single unhealthy meal may not destroy health. A single lazy day may not destroy success. A single negative thought may not destroy confidence, but repeated daily patterns eventually create major consequences. In the same way, one workout may not transform the body. 1 hour of study may not create mastery. One positive action may not change destiny instantly, yet consistent repetition creates extraordinary long-term results. Is the hidden power of habits. Many people fail to improve life because they underestimate small actions. They search for massive motivation, dramatic opportunities, or instant transformation while ignoring daily routines, quietly controlling their future. The truth is simple: your habits are creating your future right now. Whether a person realizes it or not, repeated behavior always produces outcomes. Every habit either strengthens life or weakens it. There is no neutral direction. Healthy habits create strength. Destructive habits create weakness. A young athlete once dreamed of becoming a professional competitor. He possessed natural talent, speed, and physical ability. Coaches praised his potential, and many believed success would arrive easily for him. Another athlete trained beside him every day. This second athlete possessed less natural talent but stronger discipline. He woke up earlier, practiced longer, improved nutrition, and trained consistently even during difficult days. At first, the talented athlete performed better because natural ability gave immediate advantage. Yet over time, something changed. The disciplined athlete became stronger, faster, and mentally tougher because consistent habits slowly overcame natural talent. Years later, the disciplined athlete achieved professional success, while the talented athlete struggled because talent without discipline eventually weakens against consistency. This story reflects one of the most important truths about human growth. Daily habits matter more than temporary motivation. Human beings often become what they repeatedly do. A person who reads daily becomes more knowledgeable. A person who trains daily becomes healthier. A person who practices gratitude daily becomes emotionally stronger. A person who wastes time daily becomes stagnant. Identity grows through repetition. This is why habits influence confidence deeply. Every repeated action sends messages to the subconscious mind. Disciplined habits say, I value my future. I respect myself. I can trust my actions. Destructive habits say, comfort matters more than growth. Distraction matters more than purpose. Excuses control my behavior. Over time, these repeated messages shape self-belief. People secretly struggle with confidence because their habits continuously weaken trust in themselves. They promise change, but repeat destructive behavior repeatedly. I will wake up early. I will improve my health. I will focus on goals. Yet days pass without action eventually. The mind stops believing future promises because behavior and intention remain disconnected. Habits either build self-trust or destroy it. One important reason habits become powerful is automation. Human beings repeat many behaviors unconsciously. Daily routines eventually require less mental effort because the brain seeks efficiency. This means both positive and negative. Habits become easier with repetition. A person who exercises regularly eventually feels uncomfortable without movement. A person addicted to distraction eventually struggles to focus deeply. The brain adapts according to repeated behavior. This is why the beginning of habit change feels difficult. Old patterns resist transformation because familiarity creates comfort even when habits are harmful. A man once lived with extremely unhealthy routines. He slept late, ignored physical health, wasted hours daily, and constantly delayed responsibilities. Deep inside, he felt frustrated because he wanted change, yet struggled to maintain discipline. One evening, after experiencing severe exhaustion, he realized his habits were slowly destroying both physical energy and emotional peace. Instead of attempting massive overnight transformation, he started small. He began waking 30 minutes earlier. He started walking daily. He reduced meaningless screen time. He read a few pages every night. These changes seemed insignificant initially, yet he remained consistent. Weeks passed, then months. Slowly his energy improved. His focus improved. His confidence improved. Eventually, people around him noticed dramatic transformation, but the transformation was not created by one giant decision. It was created through small, repeated habits practiced daily. This demonstrates an important principle. Small actions become powerful through consistency. Most people quit positive habits too early because results appear slow. Human beings naturally seek immediate reward, yet meaningful growth often develops invisibly before becoming visible externally. A seed grows underground before appearing above the surface. The same happens with personal growth. Discipline practiced today may not produce instant reward, but hidden progress is still happening. Skills improve gradually. Health improves gradually. Mindset improves gradually. Patience becomes essential during habit formation. Another important truth about habits is environmental influence. Human behavior is strongly shaped by surroundings. A distracted environment encourages distraction. A disciplined environment encourages focus. A negative environment encourages negativity. People often underestimate how deeply surroundings affect daily behavior. If unhealthy food surrounds a person, constantly healthy eating becomes more difficult. If negative conversations dominate daily life, positive thinking becomes harder. If laziness becomes normal within a social group, discipline feels unusual. Strong individuals consciously design environments supporting growth. They protect mental focus. They reduce unnecessary distraction. They choose influences carefully. Environment silently shapes habits every day. Modern society creates dangerous habits easily. Endless entertainment, instant pleasure, and constant stimulation weaken attention spans and discipline. Many individuals lose the ability to focus deeply because their minds become addicted to instant gratification. This creates emotional and mental weakness. A distracted mind struggles to build meaningful success because important goals require sustained effort. Learning, creating, building, healing, growing all demand consistency and patience. Habits determine whether a person moves toward growth or stagnation daily. One dangerous habit many people develop is procrastination. Procrastination feels harmless initially because delay creates temporary comfort. Yet repeated delay slowly destroys opportunity. Important work gets postponed. Dreams remain unfinished. Potential remains unused. The painful part about procrastination is that it creates hidden emotional pressure. Even while avoiding tasks, the mind continues carrying stress because unfinished responsibilities remain. Mentally active action reduces anxiety more effectively than avoidance. A disciplined person understands this deeply. They begin tasks even when motivation feels absent, because movement creates momentum. Momentum becomes powerful once positive. Momentum develops, discipline feels more natural. Once negative momentum develops, laziness becomes harder to escape. This is why daily choices matter greatly. Another habit shaping human life is thought patterns. People often focus only on physical routines, while ignoring mental habits, yet thinking patterns influence emotional reality. Continuously, a person constantly practicing gratitude develops stronger emotional resilience. A person constantly practicing negativity develops emotional exhaustion. Thoughts repeated daily become emotional habits. Mental discipline matters as much as physical discipline. Grateful mind notices opportunity. A fearful mind notices danger. A disciplined mind notices solutions. A victim mindset notices excuses. The future often reflects repeated mental focus. Strong habits also create freedom. Financial habits create economic stability. Health habits create physical energy. Learning habits create intellectual growth. Emotional habits create inner peace. Without strong habits, life becomes controlled by impulse, emotion, distraction, and inconsistency. Freedom without discipline usually becomes chaos. Many individuals believe habits limit freedom because routines require structure. In reality, disciplined habits create long-term freedom, while destructive habits create hidden slavery. Addiction is slavery. Laziness is slavery. Impulsive behavior is slavery. Self-control creates independence. This chapter is not asking for perfection. Nobody maintains flawless routines every day. Human beings experience setbacks, mistakes, and difficult periods. The important thing is returning to positive habits consistently, instead of surrendering completely after failure. One missed day does not destroy growth. Repeated surrender destroys growth. Strong individuals understand recovery matters more than perfection. Every new morning creates another opportunity to improve behavior. Slightly small improvements repeated consistently change identity gradually. The person who reads daily eventually becomes knowledgeable. The person who trains daily eventually becomes strong. The person who practices discipline daily eventually becomes powerful. Habits shape character. Character shapes destiny. This is why daily behavior matters more than occasional motivation. A meaningful life is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built through ordinary disciplined actions repeated quietly every single day. The future you desire is hidden inside the habits you practice now, and every repeated action is either building the person you want to become or strengthening the person you are trying to escape. Conclusion: life is not easy. Every human being carries invisible battles, hidden fears, silent pain, and unfinished dreams. Some people lose themselves inside struggle, while others discover strength because of struggle. The difference often begins inside the mind. This book was never written to entertain your emotions for a few moments and then disappear from your memory. It was written to awaken something deeper inside you. It was written to remind you that your life still has meaning, even if you have failed many times, even if people doubted you, even if the world became heavier than you expected. Throughout these chapters, one truth remained constant. Human beings have the power to change, not through magic, not through luck, not through empty motivation, but through awareness, discipline, courage, patience, responsibility, and consistent action. Many people spend years waiting for perfect conditions before changing their lives. They wait for confidence before taking action. They wait for motivation before becoming disciplined. They wait for opportunities before improving themselves. But life keeps moving. Time never stops. Days never pause. Years never return. One day people suddenly realize they spent too much time hesitating, fearing, comparing, complaining, and escaping reality. Do not allow that realization to become your future. The purpose of this book was not only to inspire you, the purpose was to make you think deeply, to question your habits, to question your mindset, to question your excuses, to question the direction your life is moving toward, because transformation begins when honesty enters the mind. There may still be fear inside you. There may still be pain inside you. There may still be uncertainty inside. You that is normal. Strength is not built by avoiding struggle. Strength is built by continuing despite struggle. Every difficult season in life carries lessons. Every failure carries wisdom. Every lonely night carries reflection. Every challenge carries hidden growth. The strongest people are not those who never fall. The strongest people are those who continue rising after every fall. Remember this clearly. Your past does not permanently define you. Your mistakes do not permanently define you. Your current weakness does not permanently define you. A person can rebuild life again. A person can develop discipline again. A person can recover confidence again. A person can discover purpose again. The human spirit is stronger than temporary suffering. There will be moments when progress feels slow. There will be moments when motivation disappears. There will be moments when people doubt your ability. Continue anyway, because meaningful transformation happens quietly before becoming visible externally. Small disciplined actions repeated daily create powerful futures. Small positive thoughts repeated daily create stronger minds. Small improvements repeated daily create extraordinary lives. Never underestimate the importance of ordinary days. The way you spend your mornings, the way you control your thoughts, the way you respond to difficulty, the way you treat people, the way you use your time. All of these things slowly shape destiny. This book cannot walk your journey for you. No words can. Replace personal action. At some point, every individual must make a decision. Remain controlled by fear, excuses, laziness, and distraction, or rise through discipline, awareness, courage, and responsibility. That decision changes everything. Perhaps tonight will become the night you stop running from reality. Perhaps tonight will become the night you finally believe in your own potential. Perhaps tonight will become the night your mindset begins transforming. Because sometimes one single night changes an entire life. One deep realization can awaken hidden strength. One honest moment can create a new future. One decision can begin a completely different journey. As you close these pages, remember one final truth. You are not powerless. You are not finished. You are not limited to the person you were yesterday. Inside every human being exists the ability to grow, rebuild, heal, fight, learn, and rise again. The future is still waiting for your decision. And maybe this single night was the beginning of everything. The end.
Kindly subscribe to my channel.